Good evening, and you're very welcome back to Around the Grounds here at Finalwhistle.ie. Another nice jam packed with fixtures in both the Premier and the First Division. 7 games down for decision this evening, and of course, we have one game in each of the divisions down for decision tomorrow. Definitely a lot of football action to get through this evening, and we have reporters scattered across the country to bring you live reports just as the final whistle has gone in those games. We will start our action down in the First Division, and what a way to start it then with the South-East derby between Waterford and Wexford at Ferry Carrick Park. Waterford, of course, beginning life without manager Ian Morris as he was sacked during the week. They're definitely looking to try and get a win this evening and try and build momentum, having lost ground over the last coming weeks in that one. While Wexford, of course, are trying to continue their ambitions in order to get into the promotion places. Watching the action at Ferry Carrick Park for us was Sean Crosby.
Yes, well, much needed 3 points gotten here by Waterford FC. Finishes Wexford FC 0, Waterford FC 2, and it's all thanks to a brace from Phoenix Patterson. A man of the match performance from the young Scotsman today, and he got his first of those 2 goals after just 8 minutes. A really nice goal, cutting in from the left hand side and drilling it into the bottom corner past Alex Moody. Just after that, then it was a pretty even game. Neither side really creating many clear cut chances. Wexford kind of put it up to their southeastern counterparts. It wasn't until 25 minutes until they produced their first real chance of the game with Aaron Dobbs going through on goal, but he was denied by a heroic block by Eddie Nolan to maintain the Blues lead. After that, there wasn't really many chances to talk about in the first half, and Waterford went in 1-0 up at the break. And the second half, they looked to make it 2 from the get-go. Alex Moody was forced into action in the Wexford goal, denying Louis Britton with a close range header, and then Shane Griffin with his follow-up being cleared off the line. After that, again, kind of similar to the first half, it was pretty even after Wexford got over the initial scare. And Waterford kind of struggling to dictate tempo and get on the ball, but they managed to just after the hour mark, and they looked dangerous when they did. A nice passage, one-touch stuff up the pitch, and Shane Griffin was brought down just on the edge of the area to win a free kick, and Phoenix Patterson stepped up to score from the set piece, curling into the bottom corner to double the lead and his tally for the evening. Waterford could have made it even more. Alex Moody once again pulling off some great saves from a free kick, and then Harry Groom this time for Wexford clearing off the line to deny Eddie Nolan. Wexford didn't really produce too many chances of their own. Adrian Friel came close just a minute from time with a volley inside the 6-yard box hitting the bar, but the result now means that Waterford overtake Treaty in the table, at least for tonight, and they go 6 points clear of Wexford, and their next game is until the 2nd of May when they host Athlone Town. As for Wexford, it's a disappointing result, especially with the decent form they've been on, certainly at home, but they are back in action next week away to Athlone Town. So it finishes here at Ferry Carrick Park. Wexford FC 0, Waterford FC 2.
A big thanks to Sean there for sending in that report from Ferry Carrick Park. Now, moving to the Premier Division, league leaders Derry were looking to put a recent slip of form behind them as they entertained Derry at the Roy McBride Brandywell Stadium this evening. Derry definitely on course to try and get 3 points against a very weakened UCD team who have been struggling to find form in the league as they are sat rock bottom of the table. Watching the action for us was Sean Comer.
Yeah, Diarmuid, an absolutely dominating performance from the league leaders against the team at the bottom of the table. Between Derry City and UCD tonight, it finishes 7-1 to Derry in the Brandywell. They had warning shots early on through Matty Smith and Patrick McElhenney, but in the 13th minute, the breakthrough came after Shane McElhenney played a long diagonal ball forward through to Will Patching. He chested it down, simply slotted by Lorcan Healy to make it 1-0. Then in the 21st minute, there was an early similar goal scored. Dummigan played it forward long to Jamie McGonigal. He got in right behind the UCD defence. He slotted by Lorcan Healy to make it 2. And then 60 seconds later, give or take, Brian Meyer took a long kick out. Luke Board jumped up to deal with the ball coming down. He didn't deal with it well at all. Jamie McGonigal took it off him. He ran through to make it 3-0. And the goals just kept flowing throughout the half for Derry. In the 33rd minute, Matty Smith got the ball in the left-hand corner. He bet a man out there, floated it across, and Ryan McJennet rose up all the way from his full-back position to head it in to make it 4. Then on the brink of half-time, Dummigan got the ball in the middle of the park. He looked for a pass, decided there was nothing on, attempted a speculative effort because why not? And Lorcan Healy dealt with it very poorly at his near post. And Derry went into the break 5-0 up. You thought maybe early on in the second half that Derry would apply some game management, but they weren't. Patching in. McGonigal came close with some chances. And then in the 54th minute, it was 6-0. after Will Patching played a 1-2 with Matty Smith from a corner. He crossed it into Ronan Boyce. He rose up to make it 6. And then on the hour mark, McElhenney played a lovely through ball through to Jamie McGonigal. He butted into the goal to make it 7-0 and to earn a hat-trick for him. In the 63rd minute, there was a consolation for UCD. Alex Nolan off the bench got the ball after it bounced down from a corner, and he smashed it into the back of net out of anger. And from there on in, there was no chances really for either side. Derry just kept the ball calmly. UCD's heads were dropped at this stage, and Derry simply lay down a marker and show why they are the team at the top of the table with a dominating 7-1 win tonight.
Perfect, Sean. Thank you for that report. Big win, of course, for Derry that can keep them ahead at the top of the table, depending on the result coming from Dalymount this evening. Now, another team that had lost ground on Monday was Dundalk. After a 1-0 defeat at Tallaght Stadium, they were, of course, looking to try and get points as the two teams below them had gotten a win on Monday evening, seeing them down into 5th place in the table. They were taking on a Shelbourne side who had suffered defeat last time out as well. Reporting live from Oriel Park, as always, is Kieran Callan.
Diarmuid, where do I start with this game? I'm going to be quite honest with you. You'd need a thesis in order to break this one down. High-octane match with very, very little given in the first half. In fact, it was quite boring, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And then all of a sudden, it just absolutely, it didn't spark into life. It burst into flames. Essentially what happened was that the I wouldn't say it wasn't Shane Farrell, it was Shane Griffin, I think it was. Look, there's been so many cards given in this game, it was absolutely madness. So what happened was that there was a red card given early on, right on the 45 minutes. What happens then is that Damien Duff is absolutely incensed by the decision. He gets a yellow card for dissent. He then kicks his water bottle in furious to that decision. He gets himself sent off. So that means that Shelbourne are not only down a player, they're also down a manager coming into the second half. Now, the second half, Dundalk were still at 11 players. They were then absolutely pushed and went for the gauntlet. They were throwing absolutely everything at this Shelbourne side. And then Patrick Hoban had a couple of very good opportunities, but it was Daniel Kelly that got the opening goal for Dundalk. Hoban did really, really well. What he did was that he just left the ball to Darragh Leahy. He spotted the run. Leahy crossed it in, and Daniel Kelly at the back post just sent it past Brendan Clark. The action wasn't finished there, though, as Stephen Bradley was then sent off, so both teams ended up with 10 players. Shelbourne were then awarded a penalty. They did have a chance to get a penalty just a couple of minutes before that, after Jack Moylan went down under a clash. Referee play on, then gave a free kick. A couple of minutes later, Dundalk were to score. Then Shelbourne were to get their penalty. And it was Shane Griffin who converted it then for the Reds. You thought this game was going to go to a 1-1 draw. Not a bit about it. There was an awful lot of consternation from the Dundalk home fans when John Martin, David McMillan were sprung from the bench. Patrick Hoban and Lewis McCarry were taken off. And the home fans were furious at the fact that Hoban had been sent off because he'd been playing really, really well. So all of a sudden, then a cross comes in from Keith Ward. Who's on top of it? One of the substitutes. John Martin, with his first touch of the game, heads it back Brendan Clark. 85th minute, 2-1 to Dundalk. So many cards, so many incidents. It was an absolutely boring first half, an absolutely high-octane second. Diarmuid, this one will go down as one of the great games of the season so far.
Perfect, Kieran. Thank you for that report from Oriel Park. Never unlike Kieran not to get a game filled with action, especially down at Oriel Park. Now, a team that had leapfrogged Dundalk in the table on Monday evening, or Monday, should I say, were St. Patrick's Athletic. They were up to third in the table. A win tonight could have seen them definitely remain close to the top two in the table. They took on a struggling Finn Harps team who were aiming for their first win in 5 games. Watching live for us was Matthew O'Donnell.
Yeah, Diarmuid Patch Athletic 2, Finn Harps 0 here at Richmond Park. St. Pat's have done all they can now to keep the pressure up on Shamrock Rovers. They dominated possession throughout the first half and made it count when Owen Doyle got on the end of a Billy King delivery. He headed into the near corner. It was a lovely header, to be quite honest with you. The second half started in the same fashion as the first half ended. Pats dominated possession and doubled their advantage when Ethan Boyle was deemed to have brought down Joe Redden in the penalty area. And Owen Doyle made no mistake from his miss against UCD on Monday night when he fired the ball straight down the middle to make it 2-0. And he could have had his third in the 90th minute when he had a strike that just whizzed past the post. Finn Harps grew into the game as the second half went on. Yo-Yo Maddy came on and had a couple of half chances, but Anang did well to deny him once or twice, and Maddie also missed a sitter then from 6 yards out to bring the game back to 2-1. But St. Pat's held out for a comfortable 2-0 win overall, and they go on to meet Derry City now next Friday night in a massive game to keep up the pace with the top two.
Perfect, Matthew. Thank you for that report from Richmond Park. Now, we had another derby down in the first division this evening, the highly anticipated Cork derby between Cove Ramblers and Cork City down at St. Coleman's Park, dubbed El Classic Cork by the locals. Definitely a hotly anticipated game, and one that Cork definitely needed to win in order to keep themselves afloat at the top of the table, knowing that Galway do have a game in hand. But it's definitely a confidence booster going into the game, was the fact that Cork have never beaten Cove in the league at St. Coleman's Park. Watching the action for us was Sam Curtin.
Oh, Diarmuid, again, I'm not too sure yet about that nickname, El Classic Cork. I think we can come up with something a little bit more catchy down here in the rival county. But anyway, very, very entertaining clash in Cove this evening, and a big crowd of over 3,942 fans in attendance at St. Coleman's Park this evening. Now, it was the visitors that got off to a flyer on 30 minutes through Rory Keating, who got his 6th goal of the season. He finished excellently from a cross from Kevin O'Connor, who had an excellent game for Cork tonight. It got even better for them then on 32 minutes when Matt Healy's superb strike from outside the box. Beautiful effort. He took a touch on his chest, let it bounce, and then he hit it on the bounce. And, basically this right footer curling into the top right-hand corner, giving Cove goalkeeper Andy O'Donoghue no chance in the net to make it 2-0 after 32 minutes. But Cove did manage to pull one back. Just a minute later, a former Cork City player himself, Ben O'Brien Whitmarsh, got a goal. He headed from close range from a corner after Conor Drinnan had a fantastic headed effort himself, and then O'Brien Whitmarsh finishing from close range. City then were lucky not to go ahead again. They had 2 goals ruled out for offside. Firstly, through Aaron Bulger, whose goal was ruled out for a handball, and then just moments later, it was Barry Coffey's turn to be denied, this time for offside. In the second half, Cove, well, they were just a completely different team, transformed at halftime. Darren Murphy, his words of wisdom really shining through, because they got level on 15 minutes. This time, actually, goalkeeper Dave Harrington for Cork, who's been fantastic all season, an uncharacteristic error from him, taking too long over a clearance. His clearance then, or his attempted clearance, was deflected off Conor Drinnan. The ball rolled into the back of the net, much to the delight of the home crowd, to make it 2-2. In fairness to say, they looked rattled for a few minutes after that as the hosts smelt a bit of blood, but they showed real character to regain control of the game, and they retook the lead on 68 minutes. Keane Coleman heading in what will end up being the winner. A fantastic, powerful header from Kevin O'Connor's corner, much to the delight of the large travelling support down in Cove tonight to regain the lead 3-2 to Cork. Now, Cove, in fairness, they had their chances to level. Cork defender Ali Gilchrist has been a revelation for them this season, and he was fantastic again tonight. He's heroic, saving 2 or 3 certain goals, really. The ball being cleared off the line 3 or 4 times in quick succession. Cove really will feel like they left behind at least a point here tonight, and what was a really, really entertaining game. Interestingly enough as well, FEI Chief Executive Jonathan Hill, he was one of the 3,942 fans in attendance at St. Coleman's Park this evening, and he picked a pretty brilliant game to go and watch as well. A really, really entertaining contest, which finished in St. Coleman's Park this evening. Cove Ramblers 2, Cork City 3.
Perfect, Sam. Thank you for that report from St. Coleman's Park. Now, mentioning Cork, you have to look at Galway as well, who are their definite early title chasing contenders as well as that. They were back in action this week after a small hiatus, looking to challenge toward the top of the table. They took on Bray at Eamon Deasy Park. Not the best record at Bray, should I say. They only have 1 win from Bray in their last 8 meetings, but Bray are looking to maybe get into the playoff places, but Galway are definitely looking to keep breathing down the necks at Cork at the top of the table. Watching for us was Masape Omenaye.
Yes, I was keeping an eye on the Cork City score just to make sure I had everything all right. As for Galway United, they played well today, but on the balance of this performance, I'm not entirely convinced that they'll do enough to win the league outright this season. They started well. There was some good passages of play, and they were clearly the dominant side. They took the lead after 8 minutes through a bit of fortune, if I'm being honest, but they deserved it at the end of the day. Edward McCormack's in-swinging free kick was partially cleared, but only fell fortuitously to Stephen Walsh, who made no mistake from close range to score his 5th goal of the season. And from then on, there wasn't really much urgency from the visitors. They didn't have that many chances, or they had a lot of possession but didn't do anything with it. It was quite a slow, hesitant style of play that they were kind of just trying to play as if the score was 0-0, but they were 1-0 down, and it should have been 2 or 3 before half time. They had Stephen McGuinness to thank that the score was still respectable, to be honest, because he made 2 big saves. First from Manu Dimas, and then from I believe it was Walsh. Yes, it was Walsh. Straight just before half time, how they were still in the game. They only had the goalkeeper to thank, and ultimately there was a little lull after the second half. There was no changes from either side, but Bray Wanderers, they had a few chances. That I think there was so many players here. Yeah, it was Killian Bruder. Sorry, it was Killian Bruder who was pulled down in the box by Hugh Douglas, who himself made a big block, and from a dangerous long throw that made it 2-0 after they hit the crossbar. And let me just check who it was. Yes, Curtis Bryan. Sorry, Curtis Bryan saw his free kick right off the upright, and after that, Rob Manley. I don't know how he missed. Honestly, he was straight through in on goal from a goal mouth scramble. Somehow he hit the air, and the fans were cheering. They were being ironic, like, "Yep, we've won this game." And from then on, it was home and hose for the hosts. So yeah, full time. Galway United 2, Bray Wanderers 0.
Perfect, Mo. Thank you for that report, keeping an eye on the game between Galway and Bray Wanderers. Now, we will finish with a kickoff that had started at 7:45, but with delays, it's just only after finishing up fairly recently. And that was obviously the hotly contested Dublin derby between Bohemians and Shamrock Rovers at Dalymount Park. Shamrock Rovers definitely trying to keep Derry within their sights with 3 points this evening, while Bohs are definitely looking to try and get some points to continue a charge up at the top of the table. Should I say, and that they're trying to definitely do that one. Con Sheehan will bring you this report from Dalymount Park.
Yeah, Dermot, it's finished. Bohs 1, Shamrock Rovers 3 here in a very cold Phibsborough. This one played out exactly how you'd expect in terms of such a big derby. It was a very frantic game with plenty of chances, plenty of fouls all the way through. And in the first half an hour, in fact, there was 3 bookings already. It only took the visitors 5 minutes, though, to take the lead through former Bohs man Andy Lyons, who made the most of a scramble in the box after a corner from the hoops, and that resulted in a tap in for him. He nearly doubled the away side's lead 2 minutes later when he broke down the left-hand side, cut in, had a go with his right foot, but James Talbot this time was equal to it with a very good save. Pushing on from there, Rovers really dominated the first half in every aspect. Bohs were in the game and did threaten on the break with the likes of Chris Twardek and Ali Coote as well, but really Rovers had the majority of the chances and just looked like the better team in general. And then on 35 minutes, they would add to their advantage. A Jack Byrne cross from the right side ended up deflecting off Max Murphy, and his touch steered it past Talbot for an own goal to make it 2-0 to the away side. That was kind of the story of the first half. Bohs, however, changed things up a bit at the interval and came out all guns blazing, it has to be said. Keith Long decided to put 2 up top and switch things up a bit, and Promise Amacheri was one of these men that came on and went up front with junior Ogedi Ozekwe, who was already starting, and this freed up a bit of space on the 2 flanks for the Gypsies, and in 56 minutes gone, Tariq Wilson will get a chance through this kind of situation where the ball was played out, over the top ball played out to him on the left, and he kind of drove inwards towards the goal and had a good effort, but Alan Manis was equal to it for the hoops. Bohs, though, for a period there straight into the second half, were a stronger side and were well on top, and they got just reward for this. 69 minutes in, a speculative volley from Dawson Devoy on the edge of the box was saved by Manis, but Ogedi Ezekwe was on hand to get a well-deserved rebound for the Dublin Originals, and that got them back into the game, and the crowd was in hysteria there after that. But unfortunately, Danny Mandrow went straight up the pitch and slotted home and quite literally silenced the home crowd, walking over to this near stand here and shushing the home supporters. And really, I think that just the nature of how that happened straight away, 1 minute after the Bows goal that got them back into the game, really took the sting out of the game and really just deflated the Bows team. And that was kind of how things unfolded down for the last 20 minutes or so. So yeah, finished Bohemians 1, Shamrock Rovers 3 here in Diarmuid Park.
Thanks to Con, of course, for sending in that report from Diarmuid Park. Now, we'll just give a brief run through all of the results from tonight, starting, of course, with the action in the Premier Division. I will take a look at the Premier Division table as it stands. It remains pretty much all as you were at the top of the table. Derry remaining ahead by a point over Shamrock Rovers. The win for St. Pat's keeps them in third place with 20 points. Dundalk, of course, leapfrog Sligo, who don't play until tomorrow evening, while Finn Harps still remain in the barren land of the playoff places as they are 5 points behind Shelbourne, who are sit in 8th position and remain in 8th, with Drogheda in 7th. We'll look at the statistics as well coming from the division, looking at the top scorers, where Jamie McGonigal is gone into the lead as the top goal scorer. He leapfrogs his teammate Will Patching, who is up to 6 goals. He was on 5 the last time out, but he managed to net tonight. But McGonigal is claiming that one in the dressing room this week. We will look at the goalkeeping statistics as well in the division, and it's Joseph Anang who will remain, of course, as the top, as the man with the most clean sheets in the league. He should have 6 clean sheets tonight, to my knowledge, with the extra one that he's gotten over Finn Harps. Not many clean sheets in the division tonight, but he manages to get one to see him up into 6 clean sheets for the season. We'll move on to the League of Ireland First Division table as well, and we'll take a look at what way that is looking up after tonight's action. And it's pretty much the same. It's as you were at the top. Cork managing to hold another 3-point lead over Galway, but of course a game in hand there could see Galway going level, but that goal difference for Cork is definitely not going to be beaten anytime soon. Longford are in action tomorrow. They'll be looking to gain ground as well, while Waterford leapfrog Treaty, who don't play until tomorrow evening as well. And we'll look at the statistics coming from that division as well. And it's Brendan O'Brien Whitmarsh who remains the top scorer. He manages to net, of course, this evening. But Phoenix Patterson managing a brace sees him on to 7 as well, while Rory Keating gets 1 to move him up to 5, joining the likes of Enda Curran and his teammate Stephen Walsh, who Stephen Walsh, of course, managed to get a goal as well tonight. So he's up to 5 as well. And we'll finish with the goalkeeping statistics coming from the First Division as well. David Harrington, of course, remaining the top goalkeeper in the division. Now, Cork didn't keep a clean sheet this evening, but he's definitely amassed enough to keep him steadily at the top with 6. Colin Kearns of Galway, of course, got 1 this evening. That sees him up to 4 clean sheets, and Brian Murphy is, after getting another one, he should be up to 3 clean sheets, if knowledge serves me correct on that one. Now we'll finish up with a run through the fixture list of the fixtures that are coming up again. Of course, we won't have action we'll have action tomorrow evening as well. So we'll have Sligo versus Drogheda United. That kicks off at 7:45, while Longford entertain Treaty. And we will also have action from the Women's National League. So we'll have another show tomorrow evening as well. Starting the action tomorrow is DLR Waves taking on Shelbourne at 4 o'clock. Athlone are away at Treaty United at 5. Peamount United take on Cork City at 5, while Bohemians are at home to Galway at 6, and Wexford Youths take on Sligo Rovers at 6 o'clock as well. So that will be our action for tomorrow evening. We'll have another Around the Grounds as well, covering the women's games and, of course, the one game in both the Premier and the First Division. All the match reports will be available on the Final Whistle website this evening, and you'll also have access to all our stats and league tables as well to see where your players are doing with your respective clubs as well as that. We hope you've enjoyed all of the action this evening. You can join us again tomorrow. You'll be notified if you turn on your notifications on all of your social media platforms to know when Final Whistle does go live with Around the Grounds. But until we see each other tomorrow evening, have a lovely Friday evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And if you are going to any of those games, make sure to tune in to Around the Grounds to find out what other results are happening. Have a lovely evening and goodbye.